Welcome to the video. This is another episode of Coffee with Closers. Today we have a 28-year-old real estate developer who has developed multiple successful projects, and we're going to talk about how to develop real estate, get into your first deal, and we're actually going to go through an actual project breakdown that he's developed, all the numbers and all the things that you're going to want to know. So let's dive right into the video. Welcome to Coffee and Cash Flow. In this series, we sit down for coffee with real estate investors who are working towards financial freedom, one income property at a time. If you are a real estate investor or aspiring to become a real estate investor, this show is for you. So welcome back to the video. We're going to dive into some numbers. So Christian, welcome to the show. And if you want to go check out his social media, he has an Instagram page called Method Invest, where he talks about real estate, entrepreneurship, personal finance, all that kind of stuff there. So go check that out, and welcome to the show.
Awesome. Chris, thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. So let's dive into it. Tell us about a actual project breakdown. We have entrepreneurs that are out there that are watching this that might want to get into real estate development, but they just don't know where to start, what to do, and what an actual project looks like or what it entails.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can break this down. So basically, it comes down to one of the first steps is pretty much, getting the right piece of land. So looking for deals out there that, have great potential, like studying your market, depending on what market you're in, right? And making sure that you're not overpaying for the piece of land, right? Once we identify, what I do is if someone sends me a lead or something like that, we go check out the land, see what the square footage it is, what city and town it's at, and depending on the square footage, zoning, we can either build a multi on it, which I love building multis, or a single family. If it's a multi, I'll really go for it. We can spend a little more money on that. Roughly, the average lot in Providence right now is going for like 85, 90,000, but just a year ago, they were going for like 55, 60,
Big jump up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So it's definitely increasing in price. Land is, you can't make more of it,
Especially with the inflation going on too. They're printing more money, they're not making more land. It's one of those things,
Exactly. So once we identify the land, and that's when we come in with our team, which is like the surveyor, and we already have a set blueprints. But if you don't have a set of blueprints, I suggest not paying. Try to go with a company that has stock ones already, and they might just have to modify them. There's a place called DLR right in Warwick. You can go get stock plans there. They'll just update them if they haven't been updated per code. It may take about a week. But this is all time that you might lose. So the surveyor might be scheduled out a week or two. Once we get the site plan, we get the blueprint, now we get to go apply for our permitting. So now it takes about a month to do all the permitting. You have to go to different like Public Works. You have to go to Narragansett Bay Commission, all these different places, stuff like that. To apply for your final permit. Once you get the final permit, a month later, right? But keep in mind, it took about 2 to 3 weeks to get the blueprint and the site plan as well.
Yep.
So there's a lot of time in between there.
So you're almost 2 months in at this point.
Exactly.
Wow.
Before you start building.
Okay.
And now once you start building, you get in there, you get your team, the foundation team, excavation team, they go in there. The day of the actual like excavation or the day before, the surveyor goes out there, marks it all out, make sure that the foundation is going to be set right. And then they start excavating, the foundation gets poured. At that point, inspections at the footings, inspections in different phases of the actual foundation. Then we start framing up once we're in the clear, and it takes about 2 weeks to frame up all the way up to the top and put a roof on it, windows, weather tight. It's called weather tight once you have the actual building enclosed, so no holes in it and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. After that, after you frame it up and stuff like that, have the roof on it. Now you want to get all your MEPs done. So mechanical, electrical, plumbing, all the rough gets done. Usually you like to have the plumbers in there first because it's much easier to move wire around than actual pipe.
Makes sense.
That
makes sense. Okay.
So that's a good tip. Yep. And so once that happens, all the inspections are passed, and you get your final inspection for framing. Okay. So actually, you have to get all the other ones inspected first before the framing.
Before the framing?
Yeah, the framing is after, which has always been a little weird to me. But
that is weird.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So once that happens, you get the okay. insulate, and I have a team that does it so fast. They're awesome. Then we start drywalling. So we put up all the drywall, get the drywall team in there. So because it's a 2-family, we might have to do some firewalls and stuff like that, depending on where it is, like, you know, 5/8. So in the hallways, you got to make sure that it's all 5/8 fire code, 2-hour fire rating. So that, you know, in case there's a fire, it's an enclosed hallway down to safety.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, so they check for that. There's an inspection for that. Plaster, and then here comes the finish, right? So the finish really entails flooring, moldings, casings, kitchens, vanities, bathrooms, the finish work for electrical, the finish work for the plumbing, you know, so it's like, it's all of that, and just being able to like streamline that, you know, it's not always easy, but
because you're managing a lot of people.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hands in the pot, a lot of contractors, a lot of, you know, people doing electrical work, plumbing work. You probably have granite companies you deal with if you're doing higher end models.
Yeah.
You have window companies. There's a million people you're dealing with, right?
Oh yeah, there's a million people. And like, here's the thing, not everyone is like 100%, you know, because sometimes we forget things, right? We forget to write things down. So we had an instance not too long ago where I had called my foundation guy, told him, hey, listen, let's not pour the floor. Like, so the floor is separate from the walls. Well, we'll wait on pouring the floor. Sometimes what happens is we'll come back in and we'll just put the funnel right through the window. And then we'll pour the floor. But he didn't cancel it. And he called me, you know, the day before we were gonna start framing. He said, hey, listen, I didn't cancel the order. We can't cancel it. So I was like, wow. So we had to go into like recovery mode. Okay, what are we gonna do? Because I can't have, you know, 8 guys standing around, you know, and not being able to build, you know what I'm saying, not be able to frame up. So came up to, the game plan was basically I got everybody on board, conference call, it's 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And we're just like, okay, we came to the conclusion that by the time that the concrete truck was gonna come, the first one, our plan was to already be up to the first platform built. Wow, so that as they're pouring the floor, the cement, our guys are up top framing.
Wow.
And we actually pulled it off. And
That's
I have
awesome.
video on it. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's like like I have the video where you'll see it. It's like you have the big concrete truck pouring cement into the foundation, and the guys up top on the first platform,
awesome.
You know, putting down the plywood so they can step somewhere. You know,
really,
what I mean?
It's wild. If you have the clip, I can insert it into this video too, so they can check it out.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
But I guess like we just it's an overcome mindset that you need to have, right? Like, so like when I told that to somebody or when I posted on Instagram and someone reached out to me and said like, that was incredible what you did. Like at the time for me, it really wasn't like much because like, it's just what we got to do. Like we just got to figure it out. But like taking a step back and realizing, whoa, that actually was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know. So
that's the thing. They say great entrepreneurs are great problem solvers, right? So that's really what it comes down to. The problem comes up and you solve it, and that's what makes a great entrepreneur. So that's awesome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't like to focus negative on I don't like to focus on the problem too much, like as in like just complain about it. You know what I mean? Like that's waste. It's wasted energy, and there's nothing that I hate more than wasted energy and wasted time. So it's like, what's the solution? Okay, I understand. Maybe we might take a loss, but how do we overcome this? What are the options? Let's move forward.
I love it. That is huge. That is huge. Now, the last question I have. So that was an awesome breakdown. Now, one thing I did have a question on, do you have like any systems and processes in place? Like, for example, a checklist of every single thing that needs to be done when you buy a house all the way from start to finish. Do you guys use something like that, or do you just kind of know it in your head and you just roll with it as it comes?
Yeah, so basically, we kind of know it in our head as it comes. Okay. However, I've been creating something called the method book.
Okay.
And in this method book, recently, with our last few developments, we write down different key lessons that are very important to know and have. You know what I mean? For example, the number one that most rookie developers make is not ordering the windows on time.
Okay.
Because if you don't, here's what happens. If you don't order the windows on time, right now with the way that material is and everything like that, you're talking about 5 to 6 weeks out for windows. So you can't weather tight that building until you have those windows. That means you
Yeah.
can't, the electricians can't start. That means the plumbers can't start. You know what I'm saying? And if you're building in the cold, you know, nobody wants to work like that. You know, it's hard. So one of the biggest things, I mean, this last house that we have, we bought the windows like when we closed on the land. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And we had them stored for like what, 4 months, 5 months, you know, like because we didn't start until the project a little later on this one. We held off, but yeah, it's very important to have things like that, like windows. You would never think, right? But it's
No.
very important to have those on hand, because then if you don't have the windows, you can't vinyl.
That's true. Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and what if your one of your breakdowns, you know, so your breakdowns when you get your money, like, so you have to hit certain milestones to get another check from the hard money guy or private money guy.
Yes. Yep.
So what if one of those things are, hey, need windows, roof, and vinyl, but you can't get that check until you get, you know what I'm saying, the
yeah, hangs
vinyl.
the whole
on.
project up.
You see what I'm saying? But then there's also a solution to that, whereas like you just ask the question, hey, listen, can we just leave out the vinyl and the labor for it, and can I get the rest of the check? Stuff like
Yes.
that, you know. So there's always ways to negotiate with people. And the worst thing that can happen is they say no.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
know, so
Doesn't
and
hurt to
then
ask.
it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if they say no, then all right, what's the game plan? You know, so let's see where we can buy 3 windows at the Home Depot and like Mass and stuff like that. You know, so
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. All right. That's a pretty good breakdown. So
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that gives someone a pretty decent outline on how to at least get the wheels churning.
Yeah.
So if it's something they want to do out there, start their own development business, it's one step closer, you know?
yeah, appreciate that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
no,
man.
yeah.
So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. We'll do everything we can to get to those questions. And if you like real estate content for real estate entrepreneurs, definitely subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks so much for tuning in.